The best gifts for knitters. Hi everyone, my name is Norman. I run the blog nimbleneedles.com and today's video is all about the perfect knitting gift ideas for advanced knitters and beginners. Maybe you have a partner, a colleague or a friend who knits and now you are looking for a lovely little present. And if you don't knit yourself, this can be tough. And even if you do, you still might be looking for some inspiration. So in this video, I'll show you altogether 15 gift ideas, no matter your budget. I also try to add some explanation to each and every item, so you really understand what it's for and when to buy it and when not to buy it. Let's dive right into my list of the best gift ideas for knitters. Before I start, just a quick note. You will find links to all the items I'm showing you in this video in the description below and a more detailed list on my blog. And remember to hit that thumbs up button to support my work. And if you have a very specific question, make sure to comment and I'm sure I'll be able to help you with your gift. Gift idea number 1, yarn. A knitter can never have too much yarn, period. So it can be a very well received gift. On my blog, you will find a massive list of over 150 indie yarn dyers, and each and every one of them sells amazing colorways that will make a knitter's heart beat faster. There are 2 things I would like to mention though. If you don't know the preferences of a knitter, don't buy yarn. If you know they like red tones and I don't know, maybe lace weight, go ahead. If you don't, chances are really high you are wasting money. And the second thing, if you decide to buy yarn, try not to buy just one skein. There's only so much you can knit with 50 or 100 grams. And really, you don't want to have another knitter desperately asking a question on my blog what they can do with just one skein. Buy 2. Gift idea number 2, an Etsy voucher. If you don't know the person all that well, you can buy a gift card on Etsy. Now, normally I really don't like gift cards. They are the most uncreative thing ever and just so impersonal. That being said, Etsy is a place almost all knitters know. So an Etsy gift card is saying, hey, I know you are a knitter and I did put some thought into my present and didn't just put money into an envelope or buy an Amazon gift card. Plus, you can print them out so it's a perfect last minute gift on top of that. If there's a nice yarn shop in your city or town, you could also ask them if they offer gift cards. Number 3, a nice project bag. I don't know how much you know about knitting, but before you finish a project with a special finishing technique called the bind-off, it can unravel any second. Like virtually one pull and all the hard work was for nothing. That's why most knitters, they store their work in progress in a project bag and, keep it away from little kids, cats, dogs, or a clumsy partner. And rumor has it that most knitters work on more than just one project at the same time. So we tend to need more than just one bag. These are 2 of my bags. But again, you'll find tons of great handmade bags on Etsy and so on. And if you know how to, you could even sew one yourself. Number 4, stitch markers. Are you looking for a really inexpensive gift for knitters? Then get some stitch markers. You use these little loops to mark special places in your pattern. And since they're so tiny, you misplace them really fast. You can never have too many of those. They sell for as little as $2, and I think the more fancier versions go up to $10, $15-ish. Again, browse through Etsy and you will find so many fun options. It's cheap and something every knitter needs. Number 5, a knitting book. Another really great idea is buying a book. As a knitter, you are always looking for new patterns and you'll spend a lifetime learning new techniques. There's a video here on my channel where I talk about the best books for knitters. I'll link it to you up in here. I think up in here. And really watch that if this is what you are looking for. I think it's a great idea, but you need to know two things. First of all, you need to find out if they already have the book. And again, you know, it's a really personal thing, patterns in particular. So if you buy them a book full of sock patterns, but they hate knitting socks, well, so you need to do some research. Now, I have 10 more gift ideas waiting for you, but before, I quickly wanted to remind you that I really love shooting these videos, but I need your support. So, why don't you give me a thumbs up right now, leave a nice comment, or even subscribe to my channel. Number 6, a yarn bowl. This is my favorite yarn bowl, and it's basically a container that keeps your yarn from getting dirty and running away. There are some amazing, like truly amazing handcrafted yarn bowls available on Etsy. You could also check your local yarn store. Some sellers even offer you to personalize the yarn bowl, like with your name or something here. So I think it's a great idea for someone who doesn't already have one. Number 7, a knitting t-shirt. So I guess you've been looking at my t-shirt the whole time, but I still wanted to highlight it because there's so many fun and creative t-shirts available on Amazon and Etsy. Some are like this, but others, you know, say knit fast, dye warm, and so on. So if the person loves wearing t-shirts, this could be a fun and not too expensive option. Gift idea number 8, customized tags. So I have these little leather tags here in my hand, and they say they say knit with love. Sorry, it's knit with love. And you can sew them to a finished project, you know, like this, and add a little personal touch to it. Because a lot of knitters, they don't just knit for themselves, they also knit for others. And with these little tags, they can add a personal message to their finished project. Most sellers offer you to customize them. So for example, it could say something like knit by Norman or whatever the name is. So I think it's a really unique gift, and there are, I don't know, $10 usually, so it's not expensive either. Number 9, a mug. Knitting and drinking coffee or tea goes really well together. And most knitters I know are like me, and they like to take a sip between stitches ever so often. So a knitting inspired mug could be a really great gift idea. Here's a mug that looks a bit like a skein of yarn, but you really don't have to be so obvious. A lovely handcrafted mug with a nice tea could be just as nice. Number 10, a Wearable Craft-Light. Now, I know I look a bit nerdy, but these craft lights, they are just so good. Because a lot of knitters, they love to knit a couple of stitches in the evening to relax after a long and hard day of work. And usually they turn on all available lights and turn their living room into a tanning studio. So if you don't want to do that, these craft lights, they are just a lifesaver, and I couldn't knit without them anymore. I'm very sure these will be very well received. Number 11, a needle case. For ages I kept my needles in an old shoebox, and they kept flying around, and it took forever and a day to find the right size. So a needle case really helps you to stay organized. Again, there's so many fun and creative options available on Etsy, and if you know how to, you could even sew one yourself. Number 12, wool detergent. Even as a non-knitter, you probably know that you shouldn't throw wool into the laundry dryer. Most hand-knitted garments are actually hand wash only, so a nice wool detergent can be a great choice. It's inexpensive, and since it's a consumable, you can never really have too much of it either. Number 13, a fluff remover. Wool tends to pill over time, so a nice fluff remover is always needed. There are special cashmere combs like these here you can use to really take care of your expensive cashmere, but there are also these electric lint removers, and depending on the knitting habits, one might be better than the other. Number 14, knitting jewelry. Now, I personally don't like to wear a lot of jewelry, but there are lots of people who do, and there are some fun knitting rings, necklaces, and bracelets available. I have this little brooch here, so if you know the person loves accessories, this could be a really great choice. Knitting gift idea number 15, knitting needles. Last but certainly not least, I would like to mention knitting needles. I have a very detailed review of the best interchangeable knitting needles here on my channel. I'll put a link to you up in, again, a link to you up in here. Of course, this had to happen. Anyway, so in case you want to watch that. That being said, knitting needles are a kind of hit or miss gift for a knitter. If someone already has a set, they probably don't need another one. Also, most knitters, they have a favorite brand. For example, I love Knitter's Pride, others they love Gu, and others yet Adi. And if you buy the wrong brand, it's kind of like having a party and you serve Pepsi, but everyone likes Coca-Cola. And so it can be difficult. However, if you know the preferences, then you could buy accessories. So for example, spare cables for an interchangeable knitting needle set, or maybe they don't have a set of double-pointed needles yet. But I guess it really boils down to doing some essential research. Maybe they have been wanting to buy an interchangeable knitting needle set for ages, but since they are quite expensive, they never could. And then this could be the gift they will remember for a lifetime. And this brings me to my last point. Knitting is a complex hobby and a vast field. I know knitters who knit one shawl after another. Others, they only knit socks. And some create the most beautiful toys with their needles. And depending on these preferences, they will need different tools. Think of it as cooking. You know, some cooks, they love to do desserts, cookies, cakes, and others are more the Sunday roast kind of cook. And depending on these preferences, they will need different ingredients and tools, and knitting is the same. I don't say this to discourage you from buying a gift for a knitter. Rather, I want you to be smart about it. So here's one last tip. Most knitters, they love to talk about their hobby. So you could really just ask them what they want and need. For example, you could do it like this. Hey, you're a knitter, so yesterday I stumbled across this shop online and had the most beautiful yarn and so much of it. I really didn't understand it because, I mean, isn't all yarn the same? And then they will probably answer it this way or another. And then you could go, oh, right. So what kind of knitter are you? And take it from there. And chances are really high that if you show real interest in their hobby, they will tell you what they want, what they need, and what they prefer. And it's really that simple. Anyway, that's it. That was my list of the best gifts for knitters. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Please give me a big thumbs up if you liked this video, comment with your feedback or your questions, and of course, consider subscribing to my channel in case you don't want to miss any new videos. Happy knitting and enjoy the rest of your day!